Married at First Sight people. Can we talk about Ikechi and Emem? Of course, people started disliking Ikechi as the show progressed. I did not like him from day one. Day one. You know how sometimes a person just rubs you the wrong way, like you can't put your finger on it, but there's just something there. And that's what it was with Ikechi for me. And this was the couple that was all lovey-dovey, and everybody's like, oh my God, you guys are coming along so far, so fast, and all that. Obviously, things got a little bit rockier once they got off of the honeymoon. If that saying, when the honeymoon is over, had a face to it, it would be Ikechi and Emem. Because when they got back, I think there were a couple things that sort of bothered me with them. When they visited each other's apartments, you could tell that he may have been feeling a little less than. That's just my opinion. I don't know. He started to go down this trail where he's calling her aggressive and he's treating her bad in front of other people, from the housewarming to everything else. Like, over and over and over again, we were seeing him just put this woman down, and he was an asshole. That is the only way you can describe him. He was an asshole. He kept saying this whole thing about, I'm a Southern man, and no. What he seemed to me to be the type of person who wants more of a submissive woman who is in the kitchen pregnant, or I don't know. But Emem wasn't it. I was a little disappointed in Emem. I thought that she obviously was trying to make it work. And she wanted to be married. You could tell that she wanted to be married. But I would get so frustrated with her when she was essentially, from my perspective, letting him walk all over her. He was running that marriage, and running it with his foot on her neck. So I did not like that. But when she finally...
I called you. You did not answer.
That was after I called.
And then stop. And then you show up today.
We were like, oh, there she is.
In this joker ass suit. I'm done, bro. You're wild. You're wild.
Baby, when she said you came in with that clown ass suit on, or circus suit, I don't know, whatever she said, Joker suit, there we go. Ooh, it just warmed my heart a whole degree. So their marriage was doomed as soon as they got back from the honeymoon. There's no question about it. There was nothing left to be salvaged. The way he was treating her, I'm sorry, I could not put up with it. And she put up with it way too long. She finally came to her senses. Now, she is one of those the couples retreat. She's one of those situations where I would have said, listen, let's go ahead and get this divorce. This ain't gonna work because you're not gonna talk to me like that, whatever, right? So, but she didn't. And she still came on the couples retreat, even though, in my opinion, it was pretty clear that they were going their separate ways. And to put a period on that, he comes in with his divorce paper. Yeah, divorce paper. Not all the papers, but page 1 of 4, right? So, and what pissed me off about that scene, he was like, hey, can I talk to you over here? So I'm thinking they're getting ready to go on the other side of the house, in another room. Baby, they were about 4 feet from the rest of the couples. Oh, so we gonna do this here? We gonna do this? Listen, I'm not a violent person, but I would have tore that damn house up that day. All right, but 4 or 5 feet from the rest of the couples, he whips out his divorce paper. I'm glad she, kind of clowned him about that. So, And it seemed like, each meeting after that, it was just getting more and more intense. He had moved out of the apartment. The other thing, though, is that he was giving her some mixed signals, I guess. And I could see, it was sort of made clear when they have this, hey, we need to go our separate ways. Hey, you want to go out after this? Yeah, let's go out after this. And then it was cold again. So I would imagine there was some of that going on probably throughout the relationship. And that may have been a reason why she was hanging on. But eventually I was like, yeah, she needs to go her separate, they need to go their separate ways. But that brings us to Brandon, this new man that she just pulled out her goddamn pocketbook. What? Okay, I understand. They've known each other since middle school. They're both going through a divorce. But listen, this is not apples to apples. Your divorce, sir, is not the same as what she's going through. What she's dealing with this show is more like, yeah, we go with the premise that we're married, right? But it's 8 weeks long. You, with whoever you were with, y'all had a relationship leading up to the engagement, the marriage, then you had the marriage, and now you're going through the divorce. There were good times leading up to bad times. There's probably years invested in that, I would hope. This ain't the same, sir. So, or really I should say, this ain't the same, ma'am, to MM, because she's looking at like, yeah, we're both going through divorces. And it's like, girl, listen, I want them, if you guys decided to make this decision to join in holy matrimony, I say have a long engagement and let it ride out and you figure out. I think you need to see a person in all 4 seasons. I need to see how you act. I know people, I've said this on the Undateable Me podcast before. I know people who have hidden a drug habit for over a year from their spouse, from their significant other, right? So I need to see all of you before we jump into this. And I know there was a great deal of time from the taping of the season up until the taping of the reunion shows. But yeah, I need y'all to not be so anxious. Now, at the recording of this video, part 2 of the reunion has not happened. And we've seen on this preview where he asked Pastor Cal to marry them. I hope Pastor Cal said no. We don't know you. We don't know, you haven't been vetted like the other folks on this show, even though that's, seems to be going south. But anyway, but I don't want to leave Ikechi out of this too. On the internet, Beyonce's internet here, a person alleging to be Ikechi's ex-girlfriend wrote a post about him, and I'm going to read that to you. It says, I dated Ikechi on and off for 2 years. I am so happy the world gets to see who he is, and unfortunately, he's a very lost person looking for external validation. Notice how the first thing out of his mouth is his book. He's been pushing this book for years. In his mind, it's better than it actually is. In his mind, he's so amazing when in fact, he's a serial bullshitter / dater. I think bullshitter should have 2 T's, but anyway, who is looking for fame. He reels women in with this sob story of how he's looking for a wife. He's not. Ask the women in Houston who have dated him. Because remember, he tried to be a part of the Houston cast as well. He used to talk about being on the show back when we dated. He's a Sagittarius with no direction or intention to marry. He's emotionally cold and void and needs a reality check. And check. And he was indeed cold to MM as well. This poor woman needs to run. Shame on Married at First Sight for even casting him. The only thing he can offer any woman is penis. He's well endowed. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, KG. I see you, Ike. Ike out here slanging pipe. So I won't take that away from him. But other than that, he's trash. He's more in love with himself. That makes me wonder. Remember, Emem said that on the honeymoon, this is before he started saying she was moving too fast for him. He wanted to take it slow. Remember, she said that he grabbed her hand and placed it on his peen. I wonder if she felt that thing and was like, "Oh yeah." No, let me stop. I'm joking, but this was a message from his ex, and I think it's very telling. You know, when there's more than one person having the same experience that others have, that starts to speak to you. So I think we all thought that he was sort of doing this for the cameras and for the show, and according to this alleged ex-girlfriend, to push his book deal. So I'm interested in seeing what happens with Ikechi and Brandon. With Emem and Brandon. I could give a damn what happens with Ikechi, and I hate that for us because he has the potential to be a good person, and he might be. Maybe the show, production can do some things, right? Maybe they just have him looking bad. But, young black guy, teacher, he has the things, right? Educated, artsy, all of that. But he's an asshole. Based on, in my opinion, based on what I saw on the show. I should say that. So that's enough of Ikechi and Emem. I wish them well, both of them. I think we need to talk about Juan, and Carla for a little bit. So check out the next episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I am on YouTube as Sock Snob Films. And if you watched all of the Married at First Sight content, be sure to check out the Undateable Me podcast under the podcast tab. All right. Or all other podcast platforms as well. Thanks so much for watching. Let's check out Carla and Juan.